Welcome to fourth quarter news. So I'm editing this video and I realized that nothing about this news intro says fourth quarter news and that the basketball bouncing sounds are all messed up, but whatever. As NBA fans wait for the next conference finals games, we sit around looking for things to talk about. So today, instead of analyzing the game, we got some news. First on the show, we just found out who's going to win Most Improved Player, MVP, and Finals MVP for the next NBA season. And that guy is Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton just did something that turned him from an average starting point guard to Magic Johnson. Now, if you've been around for a long time, you know that I have been a person that always said as soon as Elfrid Payton cut his hair, he will turn into a good NBA player. There's been times where his hair just got in the way of seeing, of shooting, and doing everything a normal NBA player should be able to do. But now he cut it, and it's grand slam for the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are winning this offseason already. First overall pick, well, they already got Devin Booker, and now you just got the reincarnation of Jason Kidd. Though Jason Kidd is not dead or anything, but you'll get what I'm saying, man. His haircut is going to drastically improve this man's game. You saw how Victor Oladipo jumped from an average starter to a superstar one year. Elfrid Payton is next. Phoenix fans, y'all should be super happy considering, I don't know if you're going to bring him back. Hopefully y'all re-sign him. You should re-sign him after the haircut because, this has been his hair for such a long time. Here's the story behind that. Payton's hair actually holds quite a bit of significance to him. His high school team in Louisiana, I'm not trying to pronounce that, made a vow not to cut their hair until they won a state championship back in 2011. However, those dreams ended when his high school was beaten by another high school in the state semifinals. So the boy was like, you know what? I just won't cut it until I win something. And goddamn it, he played for the Orlando Magic, so winning just wasn't in his future. But now, he's like, first overall pick, I gotta impress DeAndre Ayton. I gotta make sure that he knows that we coming serious this season, so I'm cutting the hair. And just like that, MVP and Finals MVP, Phoenix Suns, y'all did it. Y'all convinced this man to improve his career. Somebody also pointed out how he kind of looks like DeLon right now. I see it. Now, in recent history, the Detroit Pistons have been one of those teams that just can't get it right in the NBA draft. Just last season, they picked Luke Kennard over future star Donovan Mitchell. Not saying that Luke Kennard can't be a star. He could be, but obviously we got one player that's already close to that status and one player not so much. But this year, they're coming completely different to the draft combine. They said, not again will we mess up on our draft. And what they doing? They're giving virtual reality situations to NBA draft prospects. They didn't really ask any tricky questions, Kansas point guard Javonte Graham said in his interview with the Pistons. They did a virtual reality where I was like in the headphones and goggles and I was making plays. See if you can make the right reads and stuff like that. It was cool. Now this is incredible. Now this is not the fake newscaster that's talking. This is really Kenny. This is incredible, dog. I've always been a guy that thought that virtual reality was a step in the right direction for so many things, whether it be medicine, situations for like our fire guys to know what to do in a fire situation without being in the fire. But right now we get a future point guards to see what to do in a point guard situation. It's incredible. It's beautiful. And Detroit was the first team to do it. Don't be surprised if next year many other teams decide to do this same thing. And honestly, this is not the first time that Detroit has used this virtual reality thing because they actually did it with Andre Drummond last offseason to improve his free throws. And y'all saw he jumped from like a 38% free throw shooter to a 60% free throw shooter just in that one season. So virtual reality is great, and don't be surprised if more teams come out with the whole VR set for next year's draft. Now, hopefully this can help the Detroit Pistons do something right in the draft, because in the last 6 years, the only really good draft pick they had was Spencer Dinwiddie, and they got rid of Spencer Dinwiddie. You feel me? So they need to do something. They need to make the right decision. All right, that's it. That's enough of that. That bit was cool and all with the shirt. I can't do it no more. That's just not who I am. I ain't wore a shirt like that since basically high school graduation, which was 3 years ago, which is crazy. Let's get on to the next story though. So we're going to stick it here at the draft combine. I got a message to you NBA fans out there that are overreacting to the draft combine interviews. Now, the interviews are always good, right? You get to personally see the mindset of these young up-and-coming future NBA players, right? But when a player says he would love to play for your team, that don't necessarily mean he would love to play for your team. Well, what is he supposed to say? Nah, that team is trash. I don't want to get drafted there. No, he's not going to say that. So you hear Mo Bamba or Michael Porter Jr. talking about how incredible the Bulls organization is and how he would love to play for them. They could be telling the truth, but at the end of the day, they're future NBA prospects, and they may not want to be in that situation. But you wouldn't tell a future boss that you don't want to work for them, would you? I know I wouldn't. So these interviews are cool because you get into the mindset and everything. You learn new things about the players. But just because he said he will be cool with playing for your team don't mean he want to be rocking your jersey on June 21st. Keeping it real with y'all. But Michael Porter Jr., I actually feel like he won't want to play for the Bulls, if we being real. He's been in Chicago way too much. And I know they've been training and stuff here, but everything he put on the Instagram story is a beautiful view of the city. I just think he want to stay here. When I met him, I said, hey, what team you want to play for? And he whispered, who are you again? And that's how I knew that he wants to be here in Chicago. And lastly, it seems like the Spurs need a grand slam offer in order to trade Kawhi Leonard, which, if you ask me, is very smart, considering Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player. He's a top player in his league. So you shouldn't want to trade a top player in the league that's under contract for a few years for less than nothing, or less than a grand slam offer. So this makes a lot of sense. Now, what teams out there have the possibility to make this grand slam offer? There are a couple teams I have in mind. There are, first, the Philadelphia 76ers. Secondly, the Boston Celtics. Thirdly, thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave it a like. Let me know if you like the fourth quarter news. I'm sure there are some other teams that have grand slam offer type things, but those are the two because they got draft picks, they got young pieces or whatever. But some tells me that maybe Pop doesn't necessarily want super young pieces unless it's like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, who are, though they're super young, they still show that they're like really good at super young. Considering Pop is like 98 years old, I don't think he really wants to rebuild. So I don't know how the Kawhi Leonard thing is going to settle itself, but I just know that those are two teams that definitely have grand slam type offers on the table. And who knows, Kawhi Leonard may be in one of those two cities in the beginning of the 2018-2019 season. Thank y'all so much, though. This has been Kenny from the Fourth Quarter News. I'm gone.